Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
What
Wow.
in the world?
The media player, little player and everything. Right to the mic.
I'm just kidding.
I really don't think you
What?
were kidding.
What? You didn't like it? Little disco inferno. That's all. Old
I
school.
I think you were serious.
Oh, how you should never underestimate the level of depravity that I will dip to when I'm doing my hosting thing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are the Black Geeks. I am your effervescent host for the evening, Big Baba Rob. Hello. And I have some amazing geeks on the line with me. I have Darth Deaconius. Say hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
I have Ghost. What's going on, Ghost?
Crosshairs, baby, crosshairs.
Yeah, get that camera working. And last but not least, we have his royal lioness. We have King Face. What's going on, man?
What's
There
happening,
you go.
man?
Did you say Royal Linus
No.
like from Peanuts? It sounded like you said Royal
Well,
Linus.
he was showing his lion thing. Well, anyway, shh, quiet. So, King Face,
Also, Royal Lioness.
lion,
Ooh.
lion.
What this is like. This is why people get pimp smacked in the world, because it's like you interrupting Ric Flair in the middle of his strut. That gets you smacked. Those are the things that get you smacked right now. That's what you just did just now. I was in the middle of this cool ass intro, and you just gonna ask questions like you
See?
couldn't wait until the questions was to the strut is over. Now you ruined the moment. I'm not even gonna do it anymore. I don't even want to do it anymore.
Dang. See, you look at you messing up the creative vibe, Dark Econius. Doggone Sith. You know, Sith don't kill my vibe. Sith don't kill my vibe. You know what I'm saying? God, dog.
Ah,
All right.
gosh, always ruining somebody's vibe. Gosh.
You know what I mean? Doggone Sith. You got a vibe going, and the Sith come along and crush it under his boot heel. Freaking Sith. All right, let's get this thing going, guys. We're gonna roll this thing. We'll do 30 minutes. We're gonna talk about The Walking Dead, ladies and gentlemen. What we saw this past
Is
Sunday.
somebody slurping on a giant Slurpee?
No,
A big gulp?
I'm sure. I have a feeling that's probably Ghost. Most likely.
I'm about to Tony Stark you behind.
It's probably Ghost in his ethereal sound. That's what it is. So we're talking about today. We
Y'all
want to do
want to play
our
my theme music? That's what it's up.
No, you're not gonna play your theme music. We gonna roll this show now.
We're
We're
not
gonna roll
playing.
this show.
We don't play Old Dirty Bastard on this show.
No, we
See,
don't.
see.
Okay. See, can we
Brooklyn's. Oh, sorry.
we have
Let's start.
we got 30 minutes to cover a
Take it.
90-minute
Go ahead.
show. Can
Go
we,
ahead.
Okay.
we got 30
Go
minutes.
ahead, go ahead. Kick it, host. Kick
We got like 27 now, maybe even 26. I don't know. Let me start my chronograph of ticking.
All for the natural cause from chaos. You done.
it. Shame on you. Sorry.
Yeah. You know, hey, let's go ahead and get this started off right. Donkey Conis, can we get a little bit of the people's eyebrow?
So you want the people's eyebrow?
Can we get the people's eyebrow? I mean, we've been really consistent last. There we go. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. The people's eyebrow has.
Rob,
Oop.
what did you say you want again?
I want the people's eyebrow.
It doesn't matter what you want. You know what you can do to people's eyebrow? You can take this eyebrow, you can shine this eyebrow up real nice and good, turn that some of it sideways, and stick it up your Rudy Poo handy ass. I'm sorry. I will retreat.
Wow, you caught me completely off guard on that.
I will retreat now. I'm sorry. I'm misbehaving.
No. I'm sorry. I just asked for the people's eyebrow. I didn't know the rest of it.
You made me do it, and
I know I did. That was my fault.
it always takes me to the dark side, and I have to.
I don't know. We like the last couple of shows. The people's eyebrows showed up. The people's elbow showed up. You know, and the people's
The
champ
most
showed up.
electrifying move in sports entertainment.
Okay, Walking Dead. Let's cancel.
Oh
Walking
yeah,
Dead.
The Walking Dead. The Walking
All right.
Dead.
So what we saw was we saw season 5 finale. It was full of a lot of surprises. It was just all over the place. I know that a lot of folks were holding breath. There was a lot going on, but we're going to break down the season 5 finale. So season 5 opened up with Rick waking up, Michonne kind of watching guard over him, or really just sitting. I think she just needed to seem like she had a talk with Rick, and Rick got right back to his planning ways and scheming ways. Um, Ghost, I'm gonna start with you, and it was really great that we saw right at the beginning. Everyone's been wondering where the heck is Morgan. Well, Morgan didn't just show up, but evidently Morgan has been like watching Bruce Lee DVDs somehow while he's been on the road all this time. DVD.
The Matrix is something.
Morgan whipped out
My
that.
man pulled a book of Eli on him.
It was incredible to see what they decided to do with Morgan, and it looks like Morgan is now part of the regular cast. I want to bounce.
He's British.
He's what?
And he's British.
And he's British, which doesn't matter.
Okay.
What does that hurt your head?
Nothing.
You good with that? Okay.
No, just I after I actually heard him speak, yeah, I couldn't take him seriously anymore. It just kind of throws me off. I don't know. Go ahead.
It's always interesting when you hear some of your favorite characters and you're so used to hearing them without their natural native accents, and then they just drop it. Like I remember seeing an interview with Hugh Jackman, and just never really and like wow.
Wait, Hugh Jackman isn't American or Canadian or Canadian or none of that?
No.
Oh, damn.
He's British, right?
No, he's Australian.
He's Australian.
Freaking
But
awesome.
I think what kills you with those is that you see them in all the shows. You see them in all these shows and movies and whatnot, and you hear them talking. You never heard them do an interview before, but you watch all the movies. And Morgan has been in a few different, like multiple shows. It's not just The Walking Dead. And then
I like them on Hung personally.
Yeah, he was on Hung. He was on Jericho. And I think he was on a couple movies. And then you see him, and then you hear him do an interview, and he started talking that fast British, and I was like, "Whoa, what is going on?" He's from
Caught you off guard. Caught you off guard.
It just catches you off guard because they do their accents so thorough. The accents are so thorough. It's just like, wow.
And yet Americans can't do a British accent to save our lives. I don't know what that's about.
I could.
Some can.
I can. I'm a great actor, but I'm a thespian. So.
Oh, okay.
Thespian.
Speaking
looking at Ghost's face. I was like, I'm a thespian. He was like, what?
Hey, speaking of thespians, King Face, I think one of the greatest thespians that we've seen, character has got to be Carol. Carol.
Hey, wait a minute. I gotta look up thespian. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, why don't you look that up? Look up Webster's
Dictionary.
I'm in love with Carol.
Whatever. King Face, what we saw, Carol is just gangster.
Carol's been my favorite character since she told the girl to look at the flowers. Hell, even before that,
when she was
because
burning the bodies.
Yeah, when she started burning the bodies at the prison, and then looked at Rick, was like, I did what I had to do. And Rick is waiting. He's looking for remorse, like, so
right.
She can feel bad, and she's just looking at him like, no. Like,
let's go get lunch.
Yeah, like, can we please? Because I'm hungry right now. It's like, wow. She's been my character since then. And I think, with Carol, you seeing a character growth like mine. Because, from the first season, she was the weak little thing that needed help and protection. To now, she's ruthless. Probably the most ruthless one on the show.
This is not my house.
Yeah.
This is not my house.
She easily the most ruthless one on the show. And it's like, Rick sends her away and she's still surviving. Like, I'm still here. Like, I'm saving you. Like, I love Carol right now. I think she's probably the most stable one. And I think she represents, we talk about the comics or whatever. She represents, I think, out of everything they're doing on the show, she represents what they're trying to get across in the comics the best. Because, in the comics, what made the comics fun, one of my favorite parts about the comics is when they embrace their psycho. When they finally, like, and I'm not spoiling anything, I don't think, when they get to the point where they finally get back at the hunters.
Who cares? It's 30 minutes.
I don't know. The ones who actually hunted them down and ate Bob / Daryl. Not Daryl.
It was Dale.
Dale. Yeah, / Dale. When they ate him and they finally got back at him, they was ruthless. We went medieval on their ass. They went off. They pulled that off, and it was like, and with the way they did it, it was like they had it was none of that squeamishness. They was like, yeah, we do what we got to do to survive. You mess with the wrong group, and I think that aspect of the comics got a little bit lost in the show. But I think Carol represents that the most, even more so than Rick and Carl. Carl and Rick, they still do their thing, but Carol represents that, I think, the most. That aspect of we do what we got to do to survive. Forget all this foolishness. You could be sorry later. As a matter of fact, you don't even need to be sorry because that's not the world we live in. Yeah. And I think Carol represents that easily the most right now. I hope they keep the party going with her.
Yeah,
absolutely. Trying to change the game up.
Yeah, and what I'm going to do in a few minutes, I want to actually backtrack a little bit and talk about the relationship between the comics and what we did see in season 5. So I'm definitely going to come back to that in a minute. I want to talk about a couple of scenes that were really shocking, and I think and people were like, "What the heck?" So Ghost, the scene that we saw with Sasha disposing of the walkers and then deciding to take a little nap with them. I mean, what are we seeing with Sasha? Is this just a breakdown? Is this PTSD? Is it that she wants, it seems like she just wants, I think she kind of even made those comments in this conversation with Gabriel. She kind of wants out. When you saw, first of all, when you saw Sasha, just kind of puff up the walker and just take a little nap, like, what did you think?
I thought she was losing her mind, man. I was like, yeah, it had to be major PTS, man, because I don't know. I don't even know what to think, man. I mean, you saw when I tweeted, I was like, she gonna collect ears next. I mean, she was breaking down. I'm surprised she didn't shoot Gabriel. She should have shot him.
She was about to.
Well, as an expert on these matters,
she should have.
I just want to say for the record, as an expert in these matters, if you start sleeping with dead bodies, that's a path to the dark side.
Just slow down for a second. Let's everybody just stop for a second. I know this dude is in character. I know he's in character. But he talking about an expert in these matters with sleeping with dead people? What the F is that all about?
I'm an expert on the dark side. And I'm telling you,
okay, so that's
remember the last time we was on the ship, that funky egg, that funky smell I was telling y'all about? Everybody was acting like y'all ain't notice it. Last time we was on the ship.
He needs to clarify that, right? He needs to clarify what he just said, right? I mean, that's crazy. Woo!
I mean, I was like, yeah, when he said, yeah, Geekonis, you're going to have to clarify that statement a little bit later because you had me with the dark side piece, but the whole bodies thing, that's a little bit of the canon I'm not quite familiar with. So,
Buffalo Bill.
Man,
woo! I see dead people.
I know that's right. Yeah, I'm sure you do.
You sleep
all right,
dead
so look, no, go sees dead people. Ghost. While we're still
Ghost
talking,
might really be dead.
While we're still talking, look at you. We're rambling. Let's stay.
Oh, okay, back on track.
Focus. Ghost. While we're talking about Sasha and what she's going through, I think that as we talk about her having post-traumatic stress, I think that we saw Gabriel. Gabriel is trapped somewhere between PTSD and just, he's just the guilt. And I mean, whether it's the guilt from his original flock, whether it's just the guilt from what he saw happen. Obviously, he talked about it again in the show. But I think that he's somewhere in between just the guilt of the situation and the stress of it. Even though he somehow magically survived for so long out there with no weapon, so he's been through some things, but yet still it was the stress of what happened in his church. What do you think? Is Gabriel somewhere in between there?
I think Gabriel need to pull up his skirt, man. I mean, I understand the whole he's a priest thing, and he
Do you?
he's just soft, man, and he's looking for a way out. He's a coward.
He is a coward.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know,
He's a
I
coward.
hate, you
I
know,
don't, if he got PTS, so what? So what?
he don't
Everybody
have
else got
PTS. He's on
PTS. The
some other.
boy,
He's on
look,
some other
Carl was
stuff.
born into it.
Right.
No, I think he on some
Yeah,
other
you
stuff.
know,
I
and then
think
he
it's
like
You keep stopping.
he locked his flock out.
yeah.
Go ahead, Ghost. Finish it. Finish
Yeah,
it popping.
he
I'm gonna
locked
let you
his
finish.
flock out.
Go ahead.
He left the gate open. You know,
And everybody's like, who in the hell left
he's
the
the
gate
worst
open?
character on
But
the show right now.
They know who left the gate open now.
He's a mass murderer, man. He's trying to kill everybody.
Yeah, they know who left the gate open now because the dude told me, he said, I left Gabriel to close the gate. He didn't close the gate. And I think with Gabriel, you know what? It's funny. You know, we talk about certain renditions being done kind of better than in the book. Gabriel was a jackass in the book too, in the comic too. So it's not like it's not like it's that much of a leap. But I
They don't
like
have to change nothing in the show.
yeah, they don't really have to change much. He's doing that thing, and it's like he wants to. You know, he does that whole. You know, they don't deserve to be here. They're evil. They're evil, and it's like, dude, really. And I think what you're seeing in the show, they're kind of showing it from the acting, artistic standpoint of how I guess he's in conflict with himself because he was saved by the very people he's been damning this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how do you handle that? To me, it's a bitch move. I'm sorry. I don't know if we got to put money in a jar or whatever.
Yeah, that's money in the jar.
So because you gonna sit there and tell them how they don't belong and they don't deserve, they the ones that pulled you out the fire. Because as it stands, you've been because he said it. How he survived that whole time. He survived off the canned goods that they did from the food drive. If it wasn't for the food drive, he had probably been dead a long time ago.
Mm.
You know, he hadn't hunted and went out and about and did all that pillaging like they did and had to survive out in the wilds. He was out in the wild because he ran out of food. That's how he was out there. That's why he was there and he was ready to die because he was being stupid. You know, he's not a survivor, and he ran into survivors and had a problem with how they were surviving. And now he's dealing with the fact that there was only one way to survive, and that's to be like them. And he's conflicted because he don't want to be like them. It's a sucker move because you clearly don't want to die. You wasn't ready to die yet, but you're doing stuff to kill other people. It's just he need to go. I've been waiting for him to go for a while now. So, and I know we have a premium umbrella characters, but I mean, listen, even amongst our people, there's people that you're looking at them like you just got to go. We ain't immune to that, and he's one of them. He's one of them dudes that got to get gone.
Yeah, and I think that we're all calling for that and just hoping that it happens really soon because we need to keep this. We need to keep it going, and he's pulling it down. And I don't know. After what he pulled, I don't imagine that he can be around too much longer. But I'm sure that those who've seen the comic book can comment differently. I want to talk about the kind of the next step, which is next step. But one of the bigger scenes in the show was the whole scenario with Daryl. I think that a lot of folks who are watching the show were really surprised at the situation that they got themselves with. I know that Twitter was going crazy because I think it's either Glenn or Daryl had bit the bullet during that show. There probably would have been just riots in the streets, cars being flipped over in cities near you.
I would have been celebrating.
Why?
I would have been celebrating, but Daryl is the wild card for all of us who read that, and I think that's a good thing because for us who read the comic books and is following along and just enjoying the show, we don't know what's happening with him because he doesn't exist. He's just there. So while we could speculate on what's about to happen, we could be like, oh, here he come. When Daryl is concerned, he fits the mold of multiple characters. So he's multiple characters in the mold wise. Well, he's a character that doesn't exist. He's a character outside of the universe right now, just chilling. So, like, when he was in the car, I thought he was about to go. I was just like, oh, damn, they finally finna get rid of him. That's crazy. And then he survives. So he's that one He's the one character. I mean, and granted, they've been killing characters that by surprise, but the fact that he just doesn't exist at all in any way, shape, or form, but he's a mainstay in the show, is both fun because I actually like his character, but it also gives us that I don't know what the hell's about to go down with him.
Yeah,
He
what's
could die
gonna
in any.
happen
He could die in
next?
any show. He could get got in any show, and it would be a total surprise. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you know it was incredible just the way they played that out, just them being able to escape, them getting caught in that trap. Geekonius, one of the big question marks that probably a lot of people don't understand, and I don't know if you can give a comic book perspective of it, were these guys, I guess they called themselves the Wolves? Was that what it was?
Yes, but they do not exist in the comic books. So
Really?
that being said, this is a
Oh,
complete mystery to even fans of the comic as well as readers of the novels, etc., etc. Um, some of us have our hunches as to what they could be. King Face and I talked about this offline and extensively about what they could possibly be doing, and we used the Terminus example. In the comic books, the whole hunters. There was a whole section of comics called "Fear the Hunters." They were on the road and they were being stalked by the cannibals, and they inadvertently grabbed Dale in the middle of the night, and Dale woke up missing a leg, just like Bob in the TV show. Um, and so for the TV show, the way they spun that story arc, they created this whole Terminus scenario, which kind of introduced you to the cannibals, but they still ended up to follow in the comic with the whole hunter scene. So my best
right.
guess, and it's a guess, I have no clue, is that they're doing something similar with the wolves because there is a major introduction to a new entity that should be happening probably by mid-season finale. Maybe the wolves is some part of that entity or a splinter group, or maybe the prelude to that other entity showing up or something. That's my best guess. I have no clue. Or they could be throwing the whole thing out and doing something new. One of the things about this show, and I've said on my Twitter feed, they always get back to the comic. Like literally, the last several scenes of the show was page by page of issue 77. The only real difference is, of course, is the congressperson in the comic is a guy, and it was his wife whose throat got slit, and they reversed the sexes. But they did the same exact thing. Pete showed up. Rick doesn't belong here. He accidentally cuts the neck of the spouse, and then the other one leans over the body and say, "Rick, do it," and Pete gets shot in the face, page by page. But
Right.
they changed things up. For instance, in the comics, Sasha's long dead. Carol's long dead. Who else is on the show?
Julie.
That who? What?
Julie. He said Julie.
Who the
You
hell is
said
Julie?
Sasha, I said Julie.
Not to be confused with Julie from Legend of Korra. There's Julie and then there's Julie. There's two different
Oh,
people.
okay.
I'm just
All
I just want to
right.
Okay,
I just want to
so
clarify that.
Sasha's character in the comic book, her name is Julie, which
Was it?
is Tyrese's daughter.
Was it Julie?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought her
Okay.
name was Sasha in the prison. Is that?
No, no, I don't think it was the name Sasha. We just assumed because we just knew who the character
No,
was
it was
representing.
Julie, and she had the little boyfriend, and
Boyfriend
everything
that
Oh,
was
they
okay.
were
going
supposed to
That's
kill
through.
each other,
that's
and then
interesting.
he ended up
I
letting her
ne-
die.
I never even researched that. I just assumed that her name was Sasha too. Oh well.
Oh, ghost just
Yeah, no,
checking.
that's Julie.
Ghost just checking. Oh, get your facts straight. Ghost just check the Sith. Oh, one go, zero get Codius. Ooh, he did all nonchalantly too. It's
All right,
Julie.
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
There is a
Finish telling us your story.
a force choke in your future. Just want
Please.
to put that out there.
Yeah,
I know, I know, I know.
Sith
But
versus
but
Ghost, whatever.
but no, I was just saying, there's a lot of wild cards going on because we don't really know. Like some of the things Sasha in the TV show is doing right now, Michonne and Andrea did in the comic book at this point. Gabriel's still an ass, so they're doing that right.
Okay, so let's now. All right, so we're pretty much gotten to the what's about just about the end of the episode. We see the two, possible hunters come back. But here's the big question for me: what does it mean? And Gikoni, let me kick this to King Face. Face, what does it mean now that Morgan has finally caught up with Rick? I mean, I don't see. I mean, maybe Morgan just settles down in the community with everyone else. But here's a man that's obviously
Settle
battle
down.
hardened. He's he's been rolling the road by himself, doing his own thing, protecting himself. What does it mean now that Morgan has finally caught up with Rick?
Well,
Turn
it's
What
out
you
the
doing?
lights.
light a
Light a
candle.
That's
candle.
right.
But
Yeah, listen, hold on.
That's right.
I think they're gonna play that kid because here, I'm gonna give you my
Turn them
perspective
off.
because me and Tony should be getting into this, and I'm gonna bring that up right at the end of my thesis. But I think because Morgan shows up because in the comic book Morgan shows up a lot earlier. Matter of fact, he shows up
He shows up before the hunters. Well before the
before
hunters.
what is he at the church
Actually, Morgan shows up in the comic when
before they get to the church?
yeah, well before that because
Because they go get him.
Rick goes back and looks for him, like
Yeah.
they kind of like how they did it in the show. If
Yeah.
they were following the comic, Morgan
He
would have
goes
came
with
back
him.
with them. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes with him.
Well, wait a minute. No, was it after the prison though? It was after
Yeah,
the
because
prison.
it was Abraham and
It's
Abraham,
after the
Rick, and
prison.
Carl.
Yeah,
Abraham
Abraham,
and
Rick, and
Carl
Carl went
go
back and
get
got Morgan.
Morgan.
Yeah.
That's how that worked. In the show, it was Michonne and Carl and Rick that goes to the town, but Morgan doesn't come back
Yeah,
with
because
them.
Morgan wasn't at the prison at all.
Yeah,
Because that would have created some crazy love
yeah,
triangle stuff.
I know. So, but because he does get brought in right about when they go to the church. Morgan, and I think they're playing to that, even though they didn't follow the direct script. I think they're playing to it is because Morgan was never like them. He was a survivor, but he wasn't like them yet because he did. You gotta keep in mind he never left the town. He
right,
had only really lived by himself. He had lost. He lost his wife. He lost his son, and before then he was surviving. When you remember the first episode, he was about to beat Rick to death with a shovel. Because he didn't know what was going on. But it was more to the point
Right.
of he thought he didn't know whether he was a zombie or not because he thought he was encroaching. He took care of him and everything. So he was never
Nah,
like
that
them. And I
was
think
his. Wasn't that his son that popped him in the head?
no, his son popped him in the head, but he took the shovel and was like, "Who are you? You better tell me who you are." This is after
Right,
his son
right,
set
right,
it off, but Morgan was about to finish it. You see what I'm saying? Originally.
right.
So Morgan was never like even that part where that I talked about earlier, where they turned the tables on the hunters. Morgan wasn't part of that clique that went and got them
No, it was actually I went and looked it up. It was on the way to Washington.
on the way to Washington or
Yeah,
Alexandria or whatever,
yeah,
and they go back because remember he said I need to make a detour. We can get some
yeah.
weapons.
He
I
went to
gotta
get some
a friend.
supplies, and then while they
Yeah,
were there, they decided to check on Morgan.
yeah, and so and that's where the whole Abraham and Rick had their bonding moment when he ripped that dude's throat out. But anyway, so I think Morgan was never like them fully. And I think they've set the stage for that now because when he saves Daryl and
No,
them,
oh, sorry, he was before the hunters. He was. Matter of fact, he was
yeah, that's
with
what I'm saying.
them.
He was before the
He was
hunters.
with he was with them before they even met Gabriel.
Yeah, they were there on the way to DC. They met Gabriel on the way
That's true.
too.
That's true. Yeah,
That
because
way,
they
yeah,
had
on the way to DC, they met him because remember they had left the prison. They were nomad in it for a minute. They were deciding what they wanted to do. Rick was like, "I know we could get weapons." This is before Eugene dropped the bomb that there is no anything. It's
Yeah,
right before that.
everybody was still like, yeah, let's go to
Everybody
Washington.
thinking it's still on DC because remember it wasn't until after they got Morgan and then Rick was starting to get he's starting to get upbeat like we might have hope again and he was looking at not Morgan, Eugene because he in the comic it was Rick that put everything on blast. So he was like, "Hey man, everything is good now, man. We got our group together. Morgan is alive. I got hope. Hey, why don't you try that radio again?" And Eugene was like, no, no, no. He was like, "Why not?" And that's when then he started getting suspicious. He's like, "I got a battery right here. Here, let's do it." and they fought over the
in,
battery.
in the struggle, he drops the radio.
Right.
He drops the radio, and there was no battery in it
No
ever.
batteries ever.
And then he was like, "What the F?" And then he was like, "Okay, fine, there's no DC." And that's where that's how that whole scene
And for the
transpired.
record, Abraham beat the snot out of him in the comic too.
Yeah. So it goes down like that there. And so but Morgan, trying to get back to the point, Morgan was never really like them. He wasn't like because Rick and them had been through some stuff with zombies and two different factions of people.
The governor, the hunters.
Well, not the hunters yet, but they had to deal with dealing with the stuff that happened at Horseshoe's farm. Then they had to go to the prison and had to deal with the prisoners. Then they had to deal with the governor, and now they're on a road, and all that stuff was happening. They were battle hardened. Morgan had never left the town.
So, if I could ask for one clarifying point, how the hell did Morgan keep up with them if they had vehicles in terms of?
Well,
is that a story hole?
No. You have to look at the show doesn't really do a good job of doing it. They're in Georgia. Rick. Obviously meets up with his family in Georgia, and for the most part, that's where they are for a long time. The Woodbury, the prison, everything's in Georgia. When the prison falls, and they meet up, Michonne finds Rick and Carl, and then eventually they all meet them way, and then they bump into Abraham and them, and they're like, let's go north. Rick's originally from Pennsylvania. I think it's Pennsylvania.
No, he's from Georgia.
No, he was Georgia.
Oh, it was a northern Georgia county. So as they're going north, that's when they get.
We need to have a geography lesson. You do realize Pennsylvania's up here,
I don't know why I said Pennsylvania. But anyway, as they're going north, they're getting close to the town that Rick is from, and Rick is like, because if you remember from the first issue of the comic book, first episode, he goes to the police station, and he know that he gave Morgan X amount of stuff, and he took what he could carry, but there was still a lot of stuff at the police station. So he tells Abraham, "Hey, let's go and get these weapons, from the town, and check in on an old friend." Morgan had never left the town. He was still there in the same house that Rick left him in.
Okay.
And then, as a result of the confirmation, he finds out that Dwayne is dead. His son had got bit by a zombie long ago or whatever. And Morgan was basically keeping him as a pet. And Rick talks him into coming back with him. And then Morgan leaves and they continue going north to D.C. So they was always they were mainly on foot.
Yeah, they were mainly on foot because remember where the truck.
The only time they drove is when they had the camper. They had Dale's camper and like another car or so.
Yeah, you remember that scene actually happened where their truck fizzles out.
Yeah.
And because remember they had their own car, then it fizzles out and they was on foot from then on, which is kind of what they did in the show.
Until they
were driving.
Until they bump into Aaron on horseback.
Until they bump into Aaron on horseback, but it was the same deal. So they kind of played the game because what they did in the show, they just made it seem like Morgan had been traveling that entire time. Rick and them had been stopping at terminus, stopping, and for whatever reason, and that was the reason why he eventually caught up because he didn't catch up right away.
Right, it took him a while to get there.
It took him a while to get there, and then he eventually caught up.
All right, so we're just about we're actually out of time, but I want to just stop and do a quick wrap up and take a look at where some of the main characters are at this point in the game. So let's just, and I'm gonna bounce it off you guys, and I'll start with Geekonius. Let's talk about Rick. You okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
All righty.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Sorry.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. See,
I saw Wolf of Wall Street the other day.
It rubs the lotion on its skin.
Yeah. Good. You know what? You know what? Forget it.
Y'all gotta watch Wolf of Wall Street. Tell me.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to do a wrap up. Okay.
No. Come on.
All right, I want to give my part shot.
Okay. All right. No. Okay.
Predictions
I'm
too.
glad you said that. No, I don't think we should do predictions.
What do we think is gonna happen?
All right, that's fine if you want to do that. Okay,
I
okay,
won't. I
fine.
won't spoil
In
anything.
in lieu of talking about where we are, where we stand with the different characters, why don't we do that? Let's talk about um parting thoughts, and I'll start with Ghost. Ghost, where do we
60
go
seconds.
from here?
Um, we body Gabriel. We we get Sasha laid. No, no, let's not. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm trying to keep a clear mind right now.
That what
I'm
you
not
call a
gonna
clear mind?
predict. I'm just gonna wait to see.
For him, that might be.
Yeah, that's true. Good point, Rob. Good point.
God. All right. Yet again, we just can't keep this show at a kid enough level. But it is Walking Dead, so hey, it is what it is. King Face. Predictions. Future for Michonne, future for Rick, future for Deanna.
I'm gonna play off a point what Ghost just said, and I think Sasha gonna get her some love. And all I got to say about that is I got jungle fever. She
Nah,
got jungle fever. We got. I think it's going down.
I don't
I think
believe
it's
it.
going down. I think that's going to go down. I think,
I don't believe
like
Brown
it.
we
cow.
no, because like we said, I think Sasha is playing a role. I mean, she's closer to Andrea than she is anyone else. Even though she does some of the stuff that some of the other characters does, she is more closer to what Andrea is by 1,000 degrees.
AMC doesn't have the guts, which is
Ooh,
why,
ooh,
which is why
ooh,
Daryl is
ooh,
still on the
ooh.
show.
I bet you
Daryl
they
should.
do it.
That's
I
the
bet you
reason
they do
why
it
Daryl's still on the show because they
because
don't
it
have the
makes the
guts.
most logical
Wait,
sense.
wait, wait. Now that you say that,
You know where I'm at.
I think it's gonna be Carol. I'm just saying.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay. Anyway, Darky Conius.
Yes.
Predictions uh next season, season 6.
I think the mid-season finale is going to be what people least expect. I'll say that, and um, they are doing some things that's shocking to me, so I'm very interested because they literally had me thinking that Daryl was going to die, Aaron was going to die, and even Glenn might die. I remember looking at the TV, holding my mouth, and was like, "No, no!" For Glenn, not Daryl. I want Daryl to die. I'm
Yeah,
just
like
clear.
what the hell?
I think Daryl is cliche. I think AMC is only keeping him alive because all these female fans who are in the Daryl fan club. I think, truth be told, I mean Morgan's bad and everything. He got Shiloh skills all of a sudden, but Daryl, man, he should bite the bullet. He's just soft.
Daryl ain't soft.
He got that
Daryl,
weak. He got that weak, moody, brooding vampire thing. Every time I look at Daryl, I think Twilight.
Carol is a wolf, man.
I'm sorry, I don't like
That
Daryl.
dude is he ain't
It,
soft.
I
He's
would.
savage.
I'll take your. You can take your Daryl. Give me Merle. That's who I wanted to be on the show. Merle.
No,
They should have
no.
killed Daryl and kept Merle.
Look,
If nothing else for the comic relief.
Merle was just a lunatic.
Exactly.
but
That's
but to that point, he's absolutely right. Merle never had gotten along with the group. They would have killed him. He never would have survived. He would have had to keep coming resurrecting him because they
two,
would have kept killing him.
two of the best characters this show had that they killed off, in my opinion, is Merle and Shane. Shane right now would be a beast. He'd just be.
you know what? The way Shane was, Shane could never have made it. He would have killed everyone.
Yeah,
He would have killed everyone at some point.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
just it wasn't just Rick. Rick, his excuse was Rick because he was standing in the way. Then he would have killed the girl. Then he would have killed Carl. Then he got mad. He would have killed Andrea. And she just reminded him of some stuff. Then he would have killed.
Well,
Andrea.
not really, because him and Andrea did the
No,
business.
no, no,
So
no, no. No, he would have
he
killed
calmed down
Andrea.
after that a
He
little
would
bit.
have killed Andrea because he was been mad that he had to kill the girl. Then he'd be like, "You trying to take her place, ain't you?" No, I'm your snap. Okay, so now you dead.
But
Now I
Shane,
just got to go around killing people.
Shane wasn't like a killer on that sense. Shane just was about himself and
He
survival.
was losing
He
his
would.
mind.
I don't think Shane was losing his mind.
No, he was losing his mind.
I
I'm
don't.
sorry.
I,
Whenever you have a
Yeah,
scene, you just start cutting all your hair off. That's the sign of crazy. I don't care what gender you are. You
I
lost
don't
your
know.
damn mind.
Sleeping with zombies seems like kind of crazy to me too. But
Exactly.
I'm just
Which
saying.
that's because she thinks she's by herself. She thinks she's alone. You know what? You
Right.
know I'm right, dude.
She
Once
thinks the
because
rest of the
So
group
she
has
feels
formed
alone
and left
because
her.
she's gonna sleep with
listen.
zombie
She's
corpses.
lost. Listen, first of all, that's your world. I'm just trying to acknowledge it. Okay. She when the whole
That's
zombie
right. You're
thing.
the expert.
Yeah, you the expert. I'm
Evidently.
I'm talking from the outside looking in. Okay, she is simply walking the whole thing, walking around shooting zombies, feeling like yo, I just got to keep killing stuff because this is what we do. That's always what Andrea was saying.
Sasha and Gabriel are not to be trusted. They're worse than Shane.
Oh, Gabriel,
Shane,
look,
Shane,
Sasha's not the
Shane,
problem.
Shane could have got in line because Shane was crazy.
Shane wouldn't have gotten
He
mine.
accepted his craziness, and he was willing to do.
Tripping.
And he was willing
You
to do whatever it took.
you
The
sound
reason why,
silly. You
the
sound
reason
silly
why,
right now.
the
That's
reason
not
why,
true.
the reason why Sasha and
No.
Gabriel
Okay. So
the
let's
reason
go
why
back.
Sasha
Let's go
and
back
Andrew
a little
and
bit.
Sasha and Gabriel act the way they act because they can't handle what's going on right now.
One, you putting Sasha and Gabriel in the same boat. You should get pimp smacked again for that one. So that's
No,
two
Can't
pimp
do
no,
it.
smacks. That's
I actually like Sasha. I hate Gabriel.
but they're not in the same
But
boat. Gabriel is just soft.
I'm saying their mental capacity right now is
They're
dangerous.
all crazy. That's why I love the
Everybody's
show.
crazy.
There's good crazy and there's bad crazy.
I
You
would
got
Sasha's not bad.
like
If
Let's,
one of them was in danger,
so
she's down for
so
the cause.
so Rick so Rick falling for the chick and like going all out on the husband instead of doing like the police
Rick's
thing
good.
and the rest of the dude. That ain't crazy.
Rick's good crazy. It's kind of control. It's under control.
Okay.
But he's not.
Crazy is crazy,
He's not
man.
at the
No,
level.
no, no.
No, there's different levels. There's out of control and there's sociopath. Like Carol is a sociopath, straight up.
But she can
And
smile.
is she out of control?
No,
I
no,
don't think
she's perfect.
I don't think
She's
out of control.
perfectly in control.
She's perfectly in control,
Okay, so
and she knows that she's
so
crazy. She admitted it. She said, "This is a mask. I'm playing a role."
Yeah, she knows what she's doing. She's gangster. I got them cookies and I got them guns. I got what you want. I got cookies.
You
I
can do
got
this the
guns.
easy way.
And she
Or we
got,
do this the
Oh,
right.
wait. Yo,
I'm just
come at
saying.
me.
Yeah.
Come at me.
Come on. You want a piece?
I told y'all a long time ago, Carol should have been a leader.
Yeah.
When she
And-
I don't think she could be the leader.
when it came out that she was the one burning those bodies, I said that's why she should be the leader because Rick didn't have
Carol
heart.
can't be the leader though. The leader can't be the one the leader can't be the hammer. Okay?
Right.
You can't be the
Right.
hammer and be
That's
the
true.
leader. Because
He's
everything
right.
you see is get it, kill it, get it, done. You have to have some kind of objectivity.
The master assassin.
And I'm gonna tell you this too about the show. They burning Michonne, man. They making everybody all hard and they trying to make her in the middle. I ain't feeling that, man. I ain't feeling that.
I'm not either.
The best thing I seen her do was hit Rick in the head with a brick.
That was a steel chair. It was a steel chair. It was a steel folding chair.
From under the ring, she grabs the stair. Oh my God! That's oh my God!
I'm just saying. I don't remember reading about her being that neutral. She was just
Actually, she didn't show a lot of emotion in the comic, but there's subtle things. Like even as of the recent issue that just came out, like a few days ago, she shows that she has some emotional stuff. So
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. So, I really don't have very many predictions at all. I think that I'm gonna say this. This is the comments I make. I think that the writers and maybe even George R. R. Martin are stuck between writing the story that they want to write and keeping the fans engaged. To get Coney's point that Daryl is still alive, I think Daryl and Glenn and even Carol are fan favorites, and that people really like to see them week in and week out. Um, and I think that they may be, just in my opinion, that they may be turning the stories to keep them around for a long time. But I also don't think that they'll have a problem doing something major and changing that and getting rid of one of them to really shock. Because so up to this point, we really haven't lost anybody that we didn't think they were going to lose. I mean, we called Tyrese, we called Robert. I mean,
Andrea.
Andrea. I mean, you kind of just knew all these people were gonna
And there
die.
were and
So
people were basically hoping that Lori died. And like people wanted Lori to die by episode 3
Oh
of
yeah,
the
yeah,
first
yeah,
of the
yeah.
first season.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and so I
All I want to know is who's gonna be the first to kiss Lucille, and I'm out.
And all I'm gonna say is, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
hey, didn't the governor have one eye? Didn't the governor have one eye? Didn't
I'm gonna ride out on that one. Take it how you
he? All
want.
right,
Yeah,
all right,
take that how you want. But can I just say, don't put
yes.
George R. R. Martin and Robert Kirkman in the same thing. I can't let that slide. George R. R. Martin ain't doing shiggity for the fans. He ain't doing nothing for the fans. At least Kirkman is out there trying. He's writing comics every month. Where the hell is Winds of Winter, George R. R. Martin?
Oh, I'm
Where's
sorry.
the book?
I said
Where
Martin.
is the
I
book?
agree. I agree.
George
I'm
R.
kind of
R.
pissed
Martin
off about that. Yeah.
is whoo
I'm
whoo.
sorry. I said I'm.
Yeah. Rudy
Yeah.
Poo. Rudy Poo.
See you. Yeah, I'm sorry. You had mentioned him the other night, and I still had him on
Yeah,
the brain. I'm sorry about
Martin
that.
is he
Yeah,
hates the fans. He really does hate the fans.
he didn't hate the fans.
He
He
has
hates
to. He has to.
No, he
he
doesn't.
has to hate
He
Game of Thrones
hates
fans.
us.
He's
He
being a
has
jerk.
to.
He's being a
Let him
jerk
hate.
right now.
He's really being a jerk.
He's being a jerk.
Well, you guys
He
aren't
want to
making it
write
any
fairy
better
tales
for him.
about
You guys aren't making any better for him. He probably feels bad enough. He's probably really working hard on that book.
And you
God
should
knows.
I'm
feel
ready to trip
bad.
him down some stairs.
He's such an ass. He probably has books 6 and 7 already written and just got them joints sitting there like, we're going to see how crazy we can make them.
It could definitely could be possible. All right, I'm wrapping this show. We're way over time. For those who have had the courage and the guts to hang on for the full length of the show, I really appreciate it. Tonight we brought you Dark Econius, we brought you King Face, we brought you Ghost. We really appreciate you all checking us out. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Black Geeks 42. Make sure you go to Twitter. We are the Black Geeks on Twitter, the Black Geeks. If you go to Facebook, we're also the Black Geeks. And if you go to Google Plus, we're also the Black Geeks. So you can find us all over the interweb. Thank you, Al Gore. And follow us along. You can also follow Dark Econius to get the latest Sith news. Make sure you check our YouTube channel for the Sith news of the week. Also, we'll have another episode of the General Show just coming up. The General Show, like it's called the General Show, but just our regular show where the Black Geeks riff about so many different things. We've got a couple of topics, maybe even some FaceTime that we'll get to. But the only way that you're going to find out is if you subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, to Twitter, and make sure you follow us. And last but not least, of course, you can always go to www.theblackgeeks.com to find out all the latest and greatest and follow along. So thank you very much. Please like us. Hit that little like button. Let us know that you like what we're doing. Drop us some comments. Let us know some things you want us to talk about. We do talk about also techie geeky stuff, and also as well as the entertainment industry. And we definitely got some really cool things coming up there. And we just do a lot. And just make sure that you like us and share us with a friend because we are low fat and no carbs. So really appreciate it. And we will check you guys out. Hopefully you watch the next video. Peace.